In the home of Blue Blurr, stationed in the living room, were three figures. Sitting on the couch was the hero Blue Blurr himself. The man was rather short and young-looking, one could almost mistake him for a teenager despite him being 35. As you might expect, his hair was bright blue, arranged in long spiny locks going down to his back, and it complemented his bright green eyes. He was currently wearing his hero outfit, which was just a blue hoodie and shorts, along with a pair of specially made, red and white shoes. Sitting next to him was a woman named Uchi, Mairu's girlfriend and a biologist researching the capabilities of plants, and her appearance complemented that. She was a rather petite woman, almost as short as Blue, and had smooth green hair, with 2 roses growing out of the sides of her head. She was wearing a green and white dress, and a pair of green slippers. Both of them were looking up at Mairu, who was looking at them with a huge grin on her face, and her twin tails wagging back and forth. "Okay, Mairu gonna tell us what's got you so excited?" Blue asked, impatiently, leaning on the couch and tapping his foot. "You look like you're about to take off." "Yes, please tell us what happened. I'm curious who I have to thank for you being this adorably happy." Uchi giggled at the sight of her overjoyed girlfriend. Mairu blushed. "Well, to answer your question, dear, that would be none other than my new boss, Izuku Midoriya." Both Blue and Uchi's eyes widened. Wait, Blue said, putting his hands in front of him to signal Mairu to stop. "Wasn't the guy who got attacked by villains like 2 days ago?" "Yep, okay, it's kind of a long story, but let's start from the beginning." Mai slowed herself down, so she didn't confuse them. "So remember how I was talking about chaos energy and all the possible uses for it, and how I wish someone else would finally wake up to its potential besides me?" Kinda?" Blue shrugged, as he cleaned his ear. "I do. You were absolutely furious when they told you to move on to other projects." Uchi recalled her girlfriend ranting to her long into the night about the incompetence and laziness of her bosses and co-workers. "I was also quite intrigued by it. I wish I could have studied its effects on flora." "Well, someone finally did see that I was right, and that person was Izuku Midoriya," Mairu said proudly. Midoriya was finally about to get that kid who gives off the chaos energy into his care, and as he was reading the papers, he found some of my notes, and that piqued his interest. So he asked to speak with me personally, and I managed to convince him about its capabilities. And so he made me the head of the new Midoriya Foundation branch, for scientific research and development. "That's great. But what does an orphanage need a scientific research and development branch for?" Blue asked, looking even more confused. "Well, technically the Midoriya Foundation is an orphanage, rather a child care facility," Mairu corrected. Blue rolled his eyes. "Okay, question still stands, what does a child care facility need a research and development branch for?" "Who cares? I'm going to be the head of a new branch. I'll get as much freedom as I want to study and test chaos energy, and I get a big budget to do so." Mairu shouted with enthusiasm, stars twinkling in her eyes. "Yes, and we are very happy for you, but we would also like to know why a child care facility is interested in such a thing," Uchi told her in a calm voice. "It is rather odd. I don't know, he just said he'd give me all the freedom and funding I wanted, so long as made some stuff for him at his request every now and then." Mairu shrugged. "I think he just wants me to help him increase security around his facility." "Okay, that sounds reasonable," Blue said. "I've already been working on a few tasks with him, just some basic stuff, fortifications, turrets, watchtowers, weaponizing his private army, stuff like that," Mairu said causally. "What was that last part?" Uchi stopped her. "Oh yeah, so remember how Midoriya has those demon monster things? Well, he wants to see if I can increase their effectiveness," Mairu explained. "Experiment with them, weaponize them further, anything to make them more powerful and effective. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing their reaction to chaos energy." "Something about this doesn't seem right," Uchi said, looking at Mairu with concern. I guess I understand his motive, but it seems like he's overreacting a bit. Then again, he was attacked by an army of villains." "Yeah, but what are the chances that's gonna happen again?" Blue asked. "But if it does happen again, he might not get so lucky, and one of the kids could get hurt," Mairu countered. "He's still being targeted by the MLA, and because he's quirkless, he'll always be targeted by them and other quirkist groups. Man, those guys are such scum." Blue spat in disgust. "I can't wait until the police find out where those cowards are hiding, then I'll take him down myself." "Well, if anything, I doubt Midoriya Izuku has any bad intentions. He seems like a good enough person from what I've heard of him." Uchi still looked troubled. Although, while I'm happy to see someone recognizing your talents, I can't help but be concerned about this. Are you sure you can manage running an entire branch of a foundation by yourself? Of course, I can, probably. Mairu started thinking about it and cringed a bit. I mean, I don't really know how to handle hiring people, or instructing people, or managing. Maybe I do need a little help. Uchi shook her head but smiled fondly. Always taking on big challenges, even if you don't know how to handle them. I suppose we can ask my mother about this. She has experience with this kind of thing. Then again, she did marry my father, so perhaps we should look elsewhere for advice. Yeah, but I was also wondering if maybe you'd wanna, come and work with me? Mairu asked her nervously, looking away from her girlfriend with a blush on her face. Uchi's eyes widened. Well, I should have seen that coming, Blue smirked. Doesn't it feel a little off hiring your girlfriend before anyone else is a bit much? Not even being subtle here, Mairu's face got much redder. IWWLI. Ahahaha. I'm just messing with ya. It's fine. Blue chuckled as Mairu glared at him, and pouted. I'd be more than happy to work with you, Uchi said. Mairu looked back at her girlfriend to see her smiling up at her, a bit of excitement lit up in her eyes. I had been wanting to research chaos energy's effect on flora, and I'll get to spend time with you more. Uchi's face also turned slightly red as she said that out loud. It's a win-win. Mairu's face absolutely lit up, a smile spreading across her face so wide it hurt, and her tails were just spinning around behind her. Yes. Oh, this is gonna be amazing. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX house. Well, that didn't take nearly as long as I thought, Mr. Uraraka said. Still, glad this is all over with so them kids can get back to living in a house again. Oh, they can't go back in yet, Izuku said, looking down at some blueprints in his hands. Your job was to repair the house, but that's far from the only construction that needed to happen around here. The barracks have also been completed, but construction on the laboratory, testing grounds, the turrets, the security towers, and of course now that the house is done, I need to get to work on adding a proper safe room in Dash. Whoa there little boss, I get the picture, Mr. Uraraka said, stopping Izuku before he could go on a tangent. But how come I wasn't informed of any of this before? Sorry to say, but there wasn't really a need, Izuku told him, trying to put this in the best way possible. Unfortunately, your business simply doesn't have the tools required to handle things like that. You were really only here to help rebuild the house, everything else is being handled by more advanced companies. Mr. Uraraka sighed and shook his head. Yeah, I should have figured. Don't worry boy, I don't take offense to it. But still, you ain't overworking yourself again, are ya? Izuku sighed and rolled up the blueprints. Maybe. I do feel really tired. Maybe it is time I take a Brea dash. Brrrr. Izuku stopped his sentence and pulled out his phone, and saw that none other than Chol. Hold that thought. The stressed teen answered his phone and held it up to his ear. Hello? Mr. Midoriya, I'm glad to hear your voice. Izuku heard Chol breath a sigh of relief. I just heard about the villain attack. Just now, it's been half a month? Izuku pointed out. Okay, I live in America, do you know how rare it is for us to hear about news that happens outside the country? Chol pointed out. Fair enough, but don't worry, we're all fine over here, and we're working on fixing and improving the house and property, Izuku explained. When should I expect you here? Hopefully, I'll have everything done by then. Soonish, I'm leaving in about a week, so I should be there in about that amount of time, Chol said. Well, the house construction should be done by then at least. Izuku calculated. I apologize, but the time I give you to adjust before you start work might be short. I have a really full plate. I can imagine, and you don't need to apologize. Believe me, people have asked far more ridiculous things of me, for much stupider reasons, Chol reassured him with a sigh. And at least you give me a heads up, rather than springing work on me out of nowhere. I'll be prepared when you need me. Thank you. Before Izuku could finish, suddenly, someone else called him. Nami. Izuku, now with a headache, sighed into the phone. Sorry, I have to take another call. That's fine, I'll speak to you before I leave, thank you, Chol said, before hanging up, allowing Izuku to pick up Nami's call. Hey buddy. Nami, for once, sounded strangely guilty, which made Izuku tense up, as he wondered what horrible thing must have happened to make Nami of all people feel guilt. So, I just wanna say, I'm sorry. What did you do? Izuku asked, sounding just utterly exasperated. Me? Nothing but I know you have a lot on your plate, like, a lot, but, I kinda gotta add more, sorry dude, we need to have another meeting. Nami said apologetically. Why? Izuku asked, not sounding any less tired. Well, remember that assassin girl, the first one, not the second one. The one with the horns. Nami said. The one that was in coma, well, she's awake. Izuku was silent for a while, taking in the sheer amount of work that statement implied, before taking a deep breath. Call me a car, I'll sleep on the way there. XXXXXXXXXXXX. Izuku wasted no time when he got to the DOC building, telling the agents to quickly guide him to the meeting room, and once he made it there, he immediately entered the room, where Nami was waiting for him. What's the situation? Izuku asked immediately, wanting to get this meeting over with so he could get back to work. Around 24 or 26 hours ago, the girl, I think her name was Nise or something, woke up from her coma. Nami was cut off. If she woke up that long ago, why was I only now informed? Izuku asked her curtly, having approximately zero patience right now. Well, the police had to talk with her first, and then we had to report it to the higher-ups, and then to you, Nami explained. So that's why it took so long. Understandable. Izuku sighed. Please continue. Alright, so she woke up, and yes, she has amnesia, Nami explained with an apologetic look. Izuku face-bombed. Of course she does. You couldn't get any information from her? None. We tried to repair her mind with quirks, but unfortunately, her physic-based quirk caused complications with any quirks trying to affect her mind. Like it's resisting our attempts. Nami sighed. Because of course. Nothing can be simple. Ugh. Izuku groaned. If that was the case, then even Kyoku wouldn't be able to do anything to help here. Although, maybe that's a good thing, kids shouldn't have to remember being assassins. Yeah, but it sure as hell makes our jobs so much fucking harder. Nami groaned. Izuku shook his head before moving on to the next topic. Anyway, what's going to happen to her now? Well, she'll be transferred to your care as soon as possible. Nami sighed. Sorry man, but DOC doesn't want to waste any resources holding her, so it's from the hospital to your house. I should have known. Izuku rubbed the bridge of his nose. So I'll be receiving 4 people once the house is repaired. 4? Nami raised an eyebrow. I have a new employee coming in with her daughter, Izuku explained. Don't worry about it. Although, I'll also be looking for more hired help, so I might need to make even more accommodations. Man, I would hate to be you dude, Nami told him. I know this sounds kind of impossible in your situation, but please make sure you don't overwork yourself again. Remember, everyone's fucked if you die. Izuku, believe me, I remember.